I request sir to please settle as we are about to begin with the technical session. Thank you so much, sir, for your presence. We now proceed to our technical panel discussion on investment opportunities and funding models for railways, transportation, and urban infrastructure sectors. This session promises to provide valuable insights into the future of investments in this sector. Please join me in welcoming our esteemed panelists with a big round of applause. I'd like to invite Mr. Ajay Sir, Principal FA and CAO, Retired Ministry of Railways. I repeat, I request Mr. Ajay Sir. I request Dr. Namrata Khalsi Ma'am, Chief Architect, Haryana Mass Rapid Transport Corporation, to please join us in the panel. I also request Mr. Karan Sethi Sir, Vice President, Infrastructure in West India, to please join us on the panel. I also request Mr. Ashish Saini Sir, DY, FA and CAO, Indian Railway, to please join us on the panel. Do we have Mr. Ashish Saini sir among us? Also, do we have Mr. Karan Sethi sir among us? Welcome, sir. Welcome, esteemed panelists. The panel is all yours.
Hello. Welcome everyone to this panel discussion on investment opportunities and funding models for railways, transport and infrastructure sector. Well, as you all know, infrastructure plays a vital role in our economy, particularly in the realms of transportation and urban development. Infrastructure is not just about building roads and railways and highways. It forms the foundation of economic well-being and the backbone of any economy. It helps boost local economies, it helps enhance connectivity, it reduces travel time, and it lowers logistics costs. The National Logistics Policy aims to reduce logistics costs from the current 13 to 14% of GDP to as low as 8% of GDP. Furthermore, India is urbanizing very rapidly these days. By 2036, 40% of the population would be staying in urban areas, contributing to around 70% of the GDP. So there's a huge scope in the urban infrastructure and transport sectors. Through this panel discussion, we would like to get more into this topic and learn from our esteemed panelists here with me. Thank you. We would like to start with Mr. Ajay sir. He has a rich experience in railways. So we would like to learn more about what are his viewpoints on this topic, especially with respect to how Indian Railways is managing the financial risks involved in large-scale infrastructure projects. What are the main challenges in attracting private players in railway infrastructure projects? And recently he's also been to Europe and he has experienced the transport networks there. So some of the learnings that he would like to share with us over here.
Thank you. And before giving a reply, I would like to congratulate, मैं उनको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा, Mr. Abhijeet Sinha ji, who is a technocrat of ease of doing business. उनकी बड़ी अच्छी आवाज़ रही और ease of business बहुत easily समझ में भी आ रहा था हिंदी में. But since here, from different countries people are here, so I am going to follow the common language, that is English. Coming to your question, you see, that growth of railways and transport sectors in India is a pivotal economic development. Indian Railway as a lifeline of the nation requires substantial capital infusion to modernize, expand capacity and improve services. Demand for urban infrastructure is rising with urbanization, leading to pressing needs for efficient funding strategy. So first is your, it's well-known PPP. It's a key opportunity. PPPs can address funding gaps by bringing in private sector expertise, technology, and efficiency. A successful model is your project like station development, Gandhinagar, Habibganj, and your dedicated freight corridors, where I was again telling first general manager of France. Then comes your future scope. What is the future scope? PPP in high-speed rail logistics parks and modernization of passenger terminals. But there are challenges also. For that, we'll have to balance the risk, ensuring long-term viability and regulatory clarity to attract private investor. Next is your FDI, foreign direct investment. Its current status is your 100% FDI in rail infrastructure. This has attracted interest, particularly in high-speed rail and metro projects. And FDI success story is your collaboration on projects such as Mumbai-Ahmedabad high-speed rail with Japanese funding. And potential area for FDI is your development of last-mile connectivity, high-speed corridors, and electrification. But still there is a challenge in this also. The challenges are currency fluctuation, bureaucratic procedures, red tapeism, and ensuring investors' confidence with stable policy. And next is your innovative financing options also. This is also very popular, bonds, green bonds, environment friendly, masala bonds, like your IRFC has issued, and KIIFB by Kerala government. And an infrastructure bond could raise funds for environmentally friendly and large scale projects. Next is your infrastructure investment trust. It's aimed at asset monetization, a step Indian Railway has taken with the NHI's model for road assets. And next is your asset monetization. Railways has already started leasing railways assets like station, freight corridors, and trains. Private sector example is your introduction of private trains under a structured competitive models. Next is your risk management in infrastructure projects. What are those risks? Risks are overruns, delays, sometimes inordinate delays, regulatory changes, and technology risks. But there has to be a mitigation strategy, like you're building a robust contracts with well-defined risk-sharing clauses, creating a comprehensive regulatory framework for dispute resolution (ADR), using insurance and hedging mechanism for long-term investment. And there has to be incentive from the government also. The government incentives are like your Vande Bharat scheme. This boosts production and operation of high-speed trains under the Make in India initiative. National Infrastructure Pipeline (NIP), railways and urban infrastructure projects are key components. Gati Shakti Plan, the head is sitting here. This program emphasizes multimodal connectivity to improve logistics and supply chain efficiency. And next is your tax exemption and subsidies. Government has rolled out tax benefits for infrastructure funds, and private players under Make in India. So, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, Indian Railways presents a unique investment opportunity with government support, evolving financing models, and the vast potential for modernization and growth. Collaboration with the private players and foreign partners, backed by robust financing, railways and the transportation sector to meet the future needs. Let us collectively drive this vision forward, making India's infrastructure a global benchmark. And next I am coming, that is totally different. Different in the sense that that is a alternative modes of your transportation that could be the help elevate urban traffic congestion, offering promising investment opportunity. That is your urban ropeways or cable cars. It's a key benefit is operate above street level, bypassing road congestion entirely. Ideal for dense congested areas where road extension is difficult. For example, your La Paz in Bolivia, Medellin in Colombia have successfully implemented urban cable car system. Investors opportunity, ropeways offer a cost-effective, quick to implement solution and lower maintenance and compared to the rail-based system. Next is your PRT, Personal Rapid Transit System. Its benefit is a small automated pods that travel on dedicated guideways, providing direct point-to-point transport without intermediate stops. It's ideal for your high-density area or specific corridors where demand justify a closed-loop or campus-type transport system. Its example, you might have seen many of people that Heathrow Airport's PRT system and Masdar City in Abu Dhabi. There is an investor opportunity. Ports offer scalable infrastructure investment with potential for PPP partnership. And next is your elevated monorail. Elevated track system reduces space usage on ground, minimizing the need for extensive infrastructure alteration. It's ideal for corridors where an overhead system can integrate without visual obstruction or architectural disruption. One of the speakers is here, Madam Namrata ji is on the structure. She will be telling, she is expert in that. And this monorail system in cities like Mumbai and Bangkok and Sao Paulo. In this, investor opportunity is here with relatively lower construction time compared to the underground metro system. Monorails can attract investors interested in medium capacity urban transit solution. Next is your electric vertical takeoff and landing, eVTOL, air taxi, you can also call it air taxi. Its key benefit is ideal for short intercity travel in congested urban areas without requiring road infrastructure. It's ideal for highly congested cities with demand for fast, high-tech transportation solutions. Examples are emerging eVTOL networks are being tested in cities like Dubai and Los Angeles at present. Here, investors' opportunities, while still in the early development, eVTOLs has attracted attention from major corporations and tech investors as a futuristic solution for urban air mobility. Fifth is your very simple, bike sharing and electric scooters. It provides a flexible, low-cost solution for short distance travel, reducing demand on main roads. It's ideal for last mile connectivity and short trips in high density areas. Examples are bike and e-scooters networks in cities like Paris, New York, and Singapore, and now in Delhi also. Investor opportunities, investors can explore sustainable transport initiative and integrate app-based tech solution for ease of use and fleet management. And last is your APM, automated people movers. Its key benefit is your driverless trains or shuttles on dedicated tracks that can serve urban cores or connect large hubs like airports and city centers. It's ideal for high footfall zones, airports or business districts requiring efficient transit without integrating into the main road network. Its example is your Orlando International Airports, APM and Dubai International Airport. Here, opportunity for investors is your, it's very highly reliable, low maintenance system, offering attractive investment potential in high demand transit zones. These alternative transportation systems could help reduce congestion and ensure smoother emergency services. Ropeways in particularly present a viable option for India's urban centers, given their adaptability to challenge terrains and efficient usage of space above crowded roads. Investors focusing on sustainable high-capacity transit mode can play a key role in transforming urban mobility. Thank you very much. Any question, please?
Thanks a lot for those enlightening words, sir. Now I would like to welcome Mr. Abhijeet Sinha, sir. So please enlighten us about the topic, especially focusing on electric vehicles. That's your core domain, sir.
Thank you. when we have such a wonderful moderator who was on a very reliable and good position to look into business models. It is difficult to put one across on the table, but I'll try to justify a couple of information that in electric mobility we have been managed to do over a period of time. I believe we are here talking about emerging technologies. Most of these emerging technologies which you have quoted, ma'am would be able to speak, and in the beginning, in the morning we have heard, are not having a good pre-established rule book. Their standards, their notifications or their certifications, their rule book from the regulatory point of view are not decided. Also, when we speak about these regulatory informations, we also speak about couple of financing models which are tend to come over a period of time. And third is how do you put that particular technology in the commercial equivalence with what you have been using from last 16-17 years. So, अगर मैं ease of doing business की भाषा में कहूँ तो पिछले 60-70 सालों से हम पहले प्रोजेक्ट बना के इम्प्लीमेंट कर देते थे. इम्प्लीमेंटेशन अच्छा हुआ बुरा हुआ वो सरकारी योजनाओं का तब पता चलता था जब उसका इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट किया जाता था. और इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट में दो ही चीज़ें निकल के आती थी. एक, कोई इम्पैक्ट नहीं आया, और दूसरा, घोटाला हो गया. जब जब CAG ऑडिट होता था तो कोई बड़ी स्कीम में से कुछ ना कुछ घोटाला निकल आता था. दिस वे ऑफ पॉलिसी मेकिंग हैज चेंज आफ्टर 2014. द पॉलिसी मेकिंग हैज बिकम सो much democratized that each one of us, every technology which we are seeing, and as an economy we are aspiring to have that technology, is getting the piece of share to come and participate in a technical trial, in a prototype, in a POC, in some or the other mode. But जब आप इतनी सारी टेक्नोलॉजी जर्मनी से लेके जापान तक लेके आते हो तो उनके लिए सिर्फ रेगुलेशन, सर्टिफिकेशन और रेगुलेटरी रूल बुक काफ़ी नहीं होता है. दे ऑल नीड टू कम टुगेदर इन एन ओपन मार्केट एनवायरनमेंट टू कंडक्ट नॉट टेक्निकल ट्रायल, टू कंडक्ट अ कमर्शियल ट्रायल. एंड दैट इज व्हाट आई हैव बीन डूइंग फ्रॉम लास्ट 10 years, टू कंडक्ट कमर्शियल ट्रायल्स ऑफ दीज टेक्नोलॉजीज, टू मेक अ डिटेल्ड rule book with standard specification and certification to be given to the regulatory bodies, and second, to create a unique financing structure, a funding model, sometime a blended financing instrument, and the last is to create an equivalence of what you have been using and what you will be using in coming time. So, National Highway EV, from the electric mobility side, only 3 lines I will say. We spent 6 to 7 years in comparing an electric car with a diesel car. You had to compare a petrol pump with the charging infrastructure, so that you have the detailing of the charging infrastructure as good as you have for the petrol pump. You had a financing model for the charging infrastructure so that you can build e-highways, and then you would have to have a कंपैरेटिव अर्निंग मॉडल. पेट्रोल पंप आपको जेब में कितना कमा के दे देगी एवरीबडी नोज, बट चार्जिंग स्टेशन आपको अगले 5 साल 10 साल में कितना कमा के दे सकता है, इसका कोई क्रेडिबल एविडेंस बेस्ड डेटा था ही नहीं बिफोर NHEV. वी ब्रॉट ऑल 3 of them together. We are very thankful to our Minister Road Transport and Highway who given us this spark कि हमें e-highway इंडिया का बनाना है, लेकिन जर्मनी का कॉपी नहीं करना है, स्वीडन का कॉपी नहीं करना है, इजराइल का कन्वेक्सिंग हाईवे भी कॉपी नहीं करना है. हमें एक ऐसी चीज़ बनानी है जो जनमानस तक पहुँचे, आपकी मेरी सबकी गाड़ी उस पर चार्ज हो सके और फिर भी प्रॉफिटेबल हो, नॉन प्रॉफिटेबल नहीं हो. एंड फाइनली वी मैनेज टू ब्रिंग ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ जस्ट 120 सेकेंड लास्ट, ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ लास्ट 8 to 9 years work which has happened into road transport and highway, and 360-degree change. What I spoke in my opening address is तुमसे ना हो पाएगा से तुम्ही से हो पाएगा. NHAI was one of the organization in the same country, same soil, unable to pay its bills in 2013. And the same organization today is saying, I have no dearth of payment problem. How and why is because of couple of innovative business models, procurement model and financing model introduced by Gadkari ji in 2014 and 15. Hybrid annuity model is one of them, which replaced BOT, EPC and TOT. Currently, majority of projects are going on HAM, and we created another model as an inspiration from hybrid annuity model called annuity hybrid e-mobility, which converts an normal highway into e-highway along with 20 buses, 200 cars on that particular highway, around 10 charging stations, and all of them, they are powered and they are backed by an annuity hybrid financing model, which gives you a strength of financing that highway on a blended financing mode. 12-month moratorium, 0% interest, and we are the first company who managed to bring a private capital bank, HDFC Bank, to fund this particular annuity hybrid fund with 3,682 crore rupees in one go to cover entire Bharatmala and entire Sagarmala stretch for e-highway. After each 50 kilometer, we are building one charging station, which can give you a confidence to charge your two-wheeler till your truck. And these charging stations are detailed, their designs, their detailing of each and every part is available, their financing model is available, and their earning in comparison to petrol pumps are available. So these are the requirements which is not only limited to electric mobility, these are required for hydrogen, these are required for any coming technology or solution which we are proposing for decarbonization of our surface transport, and also the manufacturing and infrastructure sector to come together and give a logistic network which is cheaper and more convenient and decarbonized than what we had before.
Thank you, sir. New technologies will actually require a new kind of funding model, and the way sir has elaborated, I think there's a lot of room for innovation in terms of financing, especially in the infrastructure domain. Now I would like to ask Ms. Kalsi ma'am to talk a little about this topic, especially focusing on her experience as an architect, about how architectural designs can influence investment decisions and give a new direction and new dimension to this topic.
It's on. I'm very lucky to have a very amazing panelist along with me, and it is quite a challenge to match their experience. But still, before taking on the question of the panelist, I would like to just share one of my problems with my co-panelist, is that there was one of the situation in which we were asked by the ministry to study a portion in which the road is very narrow and we have to provide last mile connectivity for an upcoming line of Gurgaon Metro. So when we looked at the ridership figures, we found that the current buses are very big and they will take up most of the area from the road which is already narrow. And if we go for a bus or any such solution of last mile, then whatever is available is very small and will not be able to fulfill our ridership requirement. There will be a gap there. So what do we do? So understanding the requirement of the road and the requirement of the commuter who wants a last mile solution, in an effort, we are trying to bring out a size that will be optimum for such a situation. Because while looking at the market, we were very surprised to understand that in India, there does not simply exist such a solution. So we are working on it at this point of time, and I hope something positive comes out of it, especially with help from my co-panelist, Mr. Sinha. So this is something on what he spoke, and I shared our issues. Now secondly, coming to the design factor and investment. So I was earlier in the urban sector, and there we had a model in which the government had the strength of having land which was like less encumbered and available at a reasonable rate. While private sector had the strength that they had better design capabilities and delivering faster and better construction. But over a period of time, this gap has closed. When the government is already arranging land now at market rate, and government has also become very, very good at delivering structures well in time with amazing finishes and absolutely trendy. So then where is the gap left for investment? So still, since I'm in metro sector, the property development is like more of the lease model. So in the lease model, the private sector has an inherent strength in having a better management of leased spaces. So that is the place which is an opportunity for the private sector to come in and partner with the metro departments to undertake what is in transport sector called property development and property design. Now what is the role of design components for which I will give an example, that in Delhi Metro I had to market a property which was over Dwarka sector 21 metro station. But unfortunately, जो शॉपिंग मॉल की रिक्वायरमेंट होती है जिसमें दे नीड अ पर्टिकुलर हाइट ऑफ द स्लैब वॉज सिंपली नॉट देयर, and the department was not able to market that for a very, very long time, and it was lying vacant, which was a loss to the public exchequer. So we worked with the private sector, we tried to convince them that you take it, and then you see what solutions, design solutions you can take out, that if the slab height is less, then you can still make do of it. And today, it is one of the most successful shopping malls of Delhi Metro as well as of that developer. So, in addition to that, what is the developer looking at is, since the government department has its own strength, like they provide a bare shell, while the finishing is done by the private sector. So at least the person or the department which is providing the bare shell has to ensure that whatever statutory compliance for licenses required are already there in terms of fire water tank, your entrances that is required. Rest the design, we may leave it to the private sector to put in, except that the department will have a look at it in terms of quality. Because if they use a lesser quality or some acrylic material, that may cause a fire problem. So this subject is very large, not the forum to discuss all of it, but still I wanted to put seeds of thoughts in your mind that in case the private sector is coming forward to collaborate with Metro, there is lot of opportunity in Gurgaon on which we are working a lot, and maybe by next seminar we will have something concrete to offer and show to the private sector. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Your experience was actually quite enlightening. And since you've talked about public sector and private sector having their own set of pros and cons and specialities, I would like to invite Mr. Karan here to talk about the PPP models and FDI models, because he's worked a lot across different models that the government has tried to incorporate in its infrastructure plans. Over to you.
Thank you, Ashish, and I mean, it's an honor to be on a panel with such senior and esteemed colleagues here, and I'm also going last now. So in the interest of time, and I think all the officials here have already covered the models and the modus operandis and the pros and cons, but I think I'd just like to highlight a few examples from such projects. Sir mentioned about railway station redevelopment that Ministry of Railways conducted, and I think A game changer in that model when that project came out was that apart from the redevelopment and operation of the station itself for about 45 years, the game changer there was that the private sector was also given land in primary areas for commercial development. I think that helped immensely to cross-subsidize the modest the returns from an infra asset through the potential of generating returns from commercial real estate. And I think a testament to that was that marquee stations such as New Delhi and CST received upward of 10 bidders, including bidders from the profile of real estate giants such as a GMR or a Tata Realty, to even global funds who wanted to participate in that project. So I think that is an example which I know that a lot of metros and a lot of urban departments are also looking to implement, but I think that is a model that can be replicated more and more in the future to give the private sector the kind of return that it needs on its capital. I think when it comes to asset monetization as well, we've seen Sir mentioned about what NHAI was able to do with TOT, and we have all the leading funds from a Macquarie, to a Blackstone now participate in those bids. But I think another, again, a key fundamental point to consider when asset monetization projects come into the market is, I think the private sector should have room to innovate, to redevelop and generate that delta, because only when they are able to generate a higher return would it actually be a win-win situation for both the government agency as well as the private sector player. Because when the government looks to monetize its assets, it's two-pronged. Number one, to get those assets redeveloped into grade A facilities, modernized structures, but it's also to bring in the private sector efficiencies and leverage their capital in order to create grade A or modernized facilities. So I think something like, for an example, the Central Warehousing Corporation, which is again a government-owned PSU, was able to recently close a transaction of modernizing 20 of its warehouses, where again we had domestic players as well as international funds participate and really give good value to CWC. So in the interest of time and just rounding up everyone's comments, I think those are my thoughts. Open to any questions. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Ken.
So, as more and more number of metros are coming in different cities, it is being discovered that the government is becoming more and more shy of sharing their assets with the metro authorities. So in that case, it is like what ma'am said, the LVC tool, land value capture, which are becoming very important. So there are two tools which I would like to discuss. One is stamp duty, and second is payment of extra FAR of TOD, which has occurred due to presence of metro, are becoming more and more important. Thank
you. As a financial advisor, I would like to give one suggestion, that is a secret suggestion. और मैं उसको थोड़ा राष्ट्रभाषा में बताऊंगा, that will be much easier to understand everybody. See, recently we have passed this year COVID, so it was just like a आपदा, एक आपदा था. और so far Indian Railways concerned, Indian Railways की एक अपनी मोनोपोली शुरू से रही है. मोनोपोली रही है तो ऐसे में जब भी प्राइवेट इन्वेस्टर आते थे तो एज ए रेलवे ऑफिसर ऑल्सो वी यूज टू कॉल देम हु आर यू. और एक आपको एग्जांपल देता हूँ, देयर वाज ए डिपार्टमेंट, PNT डिपार्टमेंट. कई बार हम लोगों ने न्यूज़ में पढ़ा होगा कि एक पोस्ट कार्ड, एक लेटर पहुँचा 10 साल बाद, 15 साल बाद, 50 साल बाद, द डिलीवरी टाइम वाज देयर. बट वो डिपार्टमेंट को, उस डिपार्टमेंट को अभी नहीं पता चला कि एक ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी आएगी कि रातों रात वो इररिलेवेंट हो जाएगा. दैट इज़ योर टेलीकम्युनिकेशन. टेलीकम्युनिकेशन आते ही PNT डिपार्टमेंट को समझना मुश्किल हो गया. ठीक उसी तरह से रेलवे जहाँ एक मोनोपोली है, उसका चैलेंजर आ गया है आपका रोडवेज, जो कि फ्रेट उसका ले जा रहा है, काफ़ी हद तक काफ़ी शेयर ले जा रहा है। और इतने ज़्यादा आप एयरपोर्ट्स खोल रहे हैं तो साथ ही साथ जो एयरवेज आ रही है तो वो आपके पैसेंजर को भी ले जाएगी। तो एक देखा जाए तो साइकोलॉजिकली रेलवे के साथ एक आपदा है। और एज ए इन्वेस्टर मैं आपको सजेशन दूंगा कि आपदा में अवसर है, अवसर है, क्या बोले, अवसर है। तो नाउ यू हैव टू थिंक अकॉर्डिंगली। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you very much, sir. I can see a very big times of sign over there. So even though we would like to ask more questions, but certainly we'll have to wrap it up here. Thanks a lot for the esteemed panelists and Urban Infra Awards for calling us here and sharing, getting an opportunity to share our insights with you. Thank you.
Thank you to our panelists for the enriching discussion and for sharing your expertise with us. Your insights have truly added great value to our event today. Now I would like to request Mamta ma'am to please present a token of gratitude to our panelists. I request Mamta ma'am to please present a token of gratitude to Mr. Ajay Lal sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. I request Mamta ma'am to please present a token of gratitude to Mr. Abhijeet Sinha, sir. I request ma'am to please present a token of gratitude to Dr. Namrita Khalsi, ma'am. I request ma'am to please give a token of gratitude to Mr. Karan Sethi, sir. I request ma'am to please present a token of gratitude to Mr. Ashish Saini, sir.
Yes.